This video is going to give you 10 tips to instantly get better at Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer and also Warzone 2.0 when it releases. The first tip with this game is that when you're entering gunfights, make sure you hip fire before you aim down sights. A lot of the guns in this game, especially when you kit them out, they do have slow ADS times, so you want to make sure you're getting the first shots off, and to do that, make sure you start off by hip firing and then start aiming down sights and firing your weapon continuously. The next tip, which is very important in this game, which is centering. Basically what you want to do is center that little tiny dot that's inside your reticle, basically in the center of your screen or where you want to be aiming when you're exiting or entering certain parts of the map. So let's say it's a window, or if it's a doorway, you want to basically put your crosshairs in that area so that you're ready to aim down sight as quickly as possible and take your shots. You don't want to be aiming to the left or to the right, because then it's going to take you some time to correct your aim. And with how fast the TTK is in this game, you're pretty much going to die. If you are enjoying this video, by the way, don't forget to subscribe as we try to reach our goal of 50k. The next tip is 2 in 1, and that is to play slower and also get your audio settings correct. You want to make sure the music volume is turned all the way down in game and select your audio mix to PC, which is the perfect one in my opinion. So this is the perfect setting in my opinion to hear directional audio for footsteps, and I can hear players very clearly with the PC setting. Now you do of course want to play a lot slower in this game compared to Modern Warfare 2019. The movement mechanics have all been pretty much nerfed, and you do want to make sure that you're hearing and listening out for footsteps and then making your play based off the back of that, or you're holding angles and basically seeing where players are coming from and then taking your shots. Long gone are the days of sliding into a room and breaking people's cameras, but the only movement mechanic that is actually worth using in this game is tactical sprinting and then jumping around a corner. That is the only thing that will allow you to catch some enemies that are camping off guard, and that is the one I use pretty much 90% of the time. Another movement mechanic that I found very interesting in this game as well, and it could help you on the larger maps, is that if you tactical sprint, then once it runs out, if you actually melee the air, it resets your tactical sprint. Now, obviously this is not ideal, but it can help you get from point A to point B a little bit faster. The next tip is a massive one, and it's to do with the Ghost perk. Now, the Ghost perk inside Modern Warfare 2 works very differently to the way it worked inside Modern Warfare 2019. Now, if you're firing a weapon in this game, then you will not show up on the minimap unless there's a UAV up in the air. Now, if you have Ghost equipped and you're firing a weapon and there's a UAV up in the air, you'll still show up on the minimap. If you have a suppressor plus Ghost equipped and there's a UAV up in the air, you'll still show up on the minimap. So the only way you do not show up on the minimap if there's no radars active. So if there's a advanced UAV, regular UAV, portable radar, or heartbeat sensor in your near vicinity and you're firing your weapon, you're going to show up on those radars. Another massive tip I use in this game, more so than previous COD titles, is pre-firing. If I think a player is coming around a corner and I can hear some footsteps, I will actually just pre-fire the doorway just so that I get that upper hand, because there's no way you'll be able to finesse in this game, especially if your opponent gets the first shots off. So just make sure that you are able to pre-fire if you do hear someone coming nearby, and worst case scenario, you've only wasted a couple of bullets. Another huge tip is learning how to control the recoil of your gun. What you want to do is take your favorite gun, put your attachments on, take it into a private match, fire the recoil against the wall, see what the pattern looks like, and then try to counter it by pulling down on your analog stick. Then what you should try and do is practice this quite a few times, because you want to make sure your aim is super consistent each and every time with your favorite weapon, and that way you can land as many shots as possible. This is going to give you a massive upper hand, and especially on the larger scale game modes and when DMZ and Warzone drop, you'll need to learn how to do this 100% to land your shots at range. The next tip is if you're using anything but a sniper rifle, you want to make sure you're actually aiming for the chest. Now the reason for that is because you get quite a high amount of damage to the chest, but if you are getting flinched by your opponent, which is going to be 90% of the time, then you will actually be landing headshots as well, and that is the best way to do it. You do not want to be aiming for the head, because if you get flinched then you're off your target completely. So make sure when you are learning how to aim, you aim for the chest, and then that way the gun will bounce upwards. Now, to get the most out of your kill streaks, what you want to do is actually switch from kill streaks to score streaks, because they're actually easier to gain than a kill streak in this game. So you are at a disadvantage if you're using kill streaks. So make sure you switch that in the game menus, and you will find yourself getting a lot more score streaks more often. Now, the next tip is going to come with a bit of time, but you need to understand the spawn logic in this game and also the spawn points on the map. And that is going to be different to every map you play on. So you need to understand where enemies are going to be spawning in so that you can go to those locations and basically take them out before they have a chance to get the upper hand on you. They have changed the spawn logic in this game, so it's based on squad spawning. So that means if you see an enemy in the distance, there could be more enemies nearby to them. Another massive tip, and this is probably the most important one, is building the correct weapons in this game. Now, make sure you are subscribed to our channel for this, because we do go over a lot of weapon builds. Not to mention, we also cover weapon stats, so you can actually see the numbers behind all these weapons as well. We've already got tons of videos already on the channel that can help you out, but for the main thing I do want to point out is that you do not always need to use 5 attachments on all your guns. Now, the way the attachments are set up in this game is that you actually get a lot more cons than you get pros when using attachments. So you actually want to keep the attachments kind of minimal. 4 attachments seems like a good amount for the most part. Until they decide to actually fix the attachments in this game, you do need to use less attachments to get the best out of your weapon. The next tip is a very niche scenario that only works on certain maps where there is water. So if you do have an enemy player inside the water and you have a shock charge, and you stick them with the shock charge, they actually will die, which is very interesting, because if you stick an enemy that's not in water with a shock charge, they actually still survive, providing you haven't killed them during the effects of the shock charge, of course. This next tip is a massive one, and you need to be able to level up your guns as fast as possible. Now, not only is Warzone 2 and DMZ coming out very soon, and you want to have the meta weapons for that, now also you need the weapons leveled up to do your absolute best. And not only that, the way the weapon leveling works in this game, you pretty much need to level up every single gun that is in the game. Now, to do this, you do want to play Kill Confirmed, and that is the reason why you're seeing Kill Confirmed, the gameplay in the background, is one of the fastest ways to do it. You want to be able to have a decoy grenade and V-stock, and every time you throw a decoy grenade, you'll get some extra XP. Along with the kills, you'll get XP. If you collect some dog tags, you'll also get more XP. Now, if you want to see 3 other easier ways to level up your weapon, then we do have a separate video which we'll leave linked in the description and at the end of this video as well. Another tip is that when you're in a gunfight, you want to make sure you're strafing side to side. There's not a lot of movement mechanics in this game, as we keep mentioning, but strafing is one of the things you can do just to throw your opponent's aim slightly off whilst making sure that you're landing your shots. And to do this, you want to basically strafe left and right, but also make sure your shots are staying on target. Now, how you actually want to practice this is going to the firing range and move left and right. Now, you want to counter your aim in the opposite direction so that you're staying on target. Now, don't worry if you're not completely accurate at keeping your reticle basically bang center, because aim assist will help you when you're on a target. As you can see here, even at long range, me moving side to side, I am able to still land shots because aim assist does help you a little bit as well. So just keep that in mind. Strafing is probably one of the only few movement mechanics in this game that actually still work and give you the advantage. Another tip is how to stun check or flash check in this game. So basically you want to stun in an area where you think enemies are. If you do get a hit marker, that means there is enemies in that area, and you could choose how you want to actually engage in the gunfight, whether you want to engage, maybe you want to disengage, you feel like there's too many players there, but it gives you another tool that you can use to see if there's players nearby without actually having to use a UAV, a portable radar, or a heartbeat sensor. And the last and final tip you need is to subscribe to the channel, because right here is where you'll get all the information you need to know about how to improve inside Modern Warfare 2, DMZ, and Warzone 2. Not to mention, we'll give you the best class setups for every weapon, and thank you very much for watching.